Yeah, as I said before, so we are practicing for the HVAC design training, right? So this is purely
Yeah.
based on the calculations. Okay, first of all, whenever we start doing the training, okay, for when you try to learn a technical, so basically we start with architectural package. So I think architectural package guideline I have shared with you before. So hope you have gone through, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go to the architectural package design, say for example, any end users or any any client, okay, they want to construct a specific project. It may be a residential, commercial, or any supermarkets, hospital, or any type of projects. Okay, so there will be bare land. Okay, within the plot limit. Okay, so whenever they purchase the land, there will be plot limit, right? Okay, so based on
Yes.
that plot limiter, they will decide what type of project they can decide. If they have a large land, they can decide the large, very, very big projects. If they have a shortest, like a small plants, then they will go with the small plant. So the basic is depends upon the plot availability. Okay, so that is the basic understanding we should have, right?
Yes.
Okay, then after that we have to decide the utilities. Okay, say for example, whenever you have a project, you have to check the utilities nearby. Say for example, you have a power income. Okay, then there is a water inline, incoming line. Okay, then you have a sewage discharge. Okay, so
Yes.
these type of things you have to see. Okay, whenever you decide the site planning, right?
Yes.
Okay. So once you decide that one, everything is okay. The soil report is good. Okay, then all the incoming utilities are perfect. Then you will start planning. You may can decide what is the type of project, maybe residential or commercial or office towers. Okay, you will be deciding. Okay, so basically, when you design the when you plan the projects, what you will do. Say for example, residential project. Say for example, so residential project consists of maybe sometime basement. Okay, sometime there is a ground floor. Then you have a multiple floors. It can be G plus any number of floors depends upon the soil strength. Okay, and it depends upon the budget from the client. He can decide, right? Okay, now the space planning.
Yes.
Okay, if you go to the architectural package, there is a space planning for each and every rooms, right? Say for example, you
Yeah.
have a corridor. Okay, then you have a residential buildings inside the residential plot. You have a bedroom. Then you'll be having a toilet. You have a kitchen, pantry, balconies. Okay, so each and every space, how to do the space planning, it is already given in the architecture package. So you have gone through, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like say for example, you have a bedroom. Okay, what is the minimum area? Depends upon the people. Okay, what is the bed size? Okay, what will be the cupboard size inside? So that will be space planning will be done by the architect when during the architectural design. Okay, then there is a toilet. Toilet it depends upon number of features. Okay, so you have a shower, sometime bathtub, sometime you have a WC wash basin. Okay, so depends upon this size of the fittings. There is architectural guideline. What should be the minimum room size? Okay, and there is a bedroom minimum room size. And if you see the apartment entry, okay, what will be the minimum dimension you have to provide, right? And for the
Yeah.
kitchen, what is the height of the kitchen sink should be, and what is the kitchen sink dimensions? Okay, what will be the kitchen table, the kitchen sink table dimensions, and what is the window dimensions? Everything is provided in the architecture guideline. So that basic idea we have gone through, right? Okay, then
Yes.
after that, if you go to the outside the building, okay, there is a corridor. So what should be the minimum size of the corridor? Okay, then if you go to utility plant rooms like electrical rooms, maybe IDF rooms, or you can say the electrical related some other rooms like telephone rooms. Okay, so then you can go to plant rooms like water plant room, fire plant room, mechanical plant room, like where you keep the HUs, FHUs. Okay, then maybe sometime you have a chiller, so you have to keep the chiller on the top of the roof. Okay, then there is a staircase. Every project having a staircase. If you have a multiple floors, okay, then you have a lift. Okay, sometime maybe single lift, sometime maybe two lift, depends upon the number of peoples or the occupancy level. Based on that, you can decide the number of lifts. Okay, then there is a reception area, or say you can say that entrance area. Okay, then you have a garbage rooms. Okay, then you have if you have a commercial building, you'll be having a common toilets. So what is a common toilet? How many number of features? There are different WCs, different quantity of WC, different quantities of urinal and wash basin. So this number of wash basin, how they decide? That is given in the architectural guideline. You have gone through, correct?
Yeah.
Depends upon the type of building and depends upon the number of people. So how many WCs, how many wash basin, you have to keep it, right? So
Yeah.
if you know the architectural background, you know that how to design the architectural. It's not that 100% we have to design. As a mechanical engineer, we should know that what is the basis of architectural. Okay, how they design the architectural. So that knowledge, if you have, then when you are working with a consultant, you can easily coordinate with architectural team. Okay, so that you have a you know what they speak and you can exchange the informations, right? Okay, now the architectural package is ready. Yeah, okay. Then when you talk about the external area, you have a parkings. Okay, say for example, sometimes there is a basement parking. So number of parking, how they decide, what is the size of the each parking bay, and what is the distance between two parking slots. Okay, what is the what is the park the park the vehicle movement path? What is the distance? Okay, and what is the ramp dimension? Okay, and if you go to the roof, what is the penthouse your doghouse dimensions? Okay, and what should be the parapet wall dimensions? So these are all provided in the architectural guideline. So if you know that the architectural basis idea, then it is easy to design your technical part, right? So this much you have idea.
Yes.
Okay. Now when you go to the technical part, okay, so immediately we cannot go to the calculation part. Okay, you should learn some basis. So that is what I told you. Like for example, you should start with some basis. Okay, so go to the psychometric chart, right? Psychometric chart, you can understand what are the different type of properties of the air. Like you have a sensible, yeah,
Light
sorry,
and
you have a dry bulb temperature, wet bulb
red
temperature,
bulb. Yeah.
relative humidity. Okay, and
Yeah.
you have a
Yes.
specific humidity, humidity ratio, dew point temperature. So have you gone through all this psychometric
Yes. Yes. Yes.
guideline? I think I
Yeah.
have shared train or carrier, both
Yes.
guide I have shared. Okay, so there is a sensible cooling and sensible heating, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the psychometric understanding. Okay, how to draw the psychometric chart, how to read the psychometric properties. Okay, and what will be the impact? Say, for example, when you try to do some sensible heating, for example, right?
Yeah.
Okay, when you go to the coldest country, okay, or maybe after the off quiet temperature, your temperature will be very lesser, and you try to heat the uh, particular air, right? So, what will happen when you heat the air? What are the impact? Say, for example, when you try to heat, it's a sensible heating. So, when you try to do the sensible heating, what will happen? What about your RH? What will happen your RH? Okay, what will happen your dry bulb temperature? What will be the impact for the wet bulb temperature? So that type of understanding you will have when you read the psychometric chart, right? Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so this psychometric chart. Okay, then next one we will try to study the type of heats. Okay, there are internal heat and external heat, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, internal
Yeah.
heat
I
is
have gone through this internal type
yes.
of heats. Everything I have read
Yeah,
the. Yeah.
yes, yes. So the internal heat is what basically lighting equipment, okay,
Yes.
or is there any envelope?
Even
So that is related to the
individual.
internal heat. And when you talk
Yeah.
about external, is again the external walls, okay. Then you can talk about
Glass.
glass. So
Exposure
these
to
are the
sun.
external
Yeah.
heat, okay. Then
Yeah.
again, the heat is divided into, like, you can say that there are two type of heats. One is the sensible heat, and another one is the latent heat, right?
Latent heat. Yeah.
Okay, sensible heat is nothing but it's a dry heat, you can
Yeah.
say that. Okay, when you talk about
Yes.
latent, you can say that it's a moisture content. Okay,
Yes.
or you can say that it's a phase change, you can say like that, right? So
Yeah.
whenever you talk
Yeah.
about a dry air, okay, say for example sensible, if you talk about equipment, it is a dry heat, right? So it's a sensible
Yeah.
heating. And when you go to
Yeah.
now say for example, uh, when you heat some equipment like your computers, it's a sensible heat. Okay, and when
Yeah.
you go to any other equipments, it is a sensible heat. Okay, so which is a latent? Say for example your food, when you're cooking food, okay, so that the heat comes from the food is latent heat. Okay, so
Yeah.
whenever there is a moisture content, say for example outside air, okay, that outside air consists of both sensible and latent. And when,
Latent. Yeah.
as a human being, we have a both latent and sensible heat. Okay, so that type of understanding you you have studied, right?
Yes.
Okay. After that, ASHRAE weather properties. Okay, I think I told you that go to the ASHRAE Meteo the website, and try to read the weather properties, like how to read ASHRAE weather properties. Okay, how to take that extreme annual temperature. Okay, what is the coldest month? What is the hottest month? Right? And what is the
Yes. Yes.
wind speed? And what is the dew point temperature? And what will be the humidity ratio? So these all you will get it from the ASHRAE directly for different weather station, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so based on that, because we are not working only for one particular locations. When you are working for different locations, you can access that ASHRAE website. You can get that ASHRAE parameters for that particular country, so that you can access, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now coming to the technical part. Now, when you try to do the thermal load calculations, okay. So before
Yeah.
thermal load calculations, there is a code some standards, okay, like either ASHRAE or there is a green building regulations. Okay, so if you talk about UAE
Okay.
green building regulations, so I think I have shared. Have you gone through the SAFWAT regulations? If you go to my
Yes.
folder, uh, there is a thermal load calculations codes and standards. There is a SAFWAT regulations. Have you gone through the
Yes.
chapter 5
And this is regarding the green building,
regarding
right? Yeah.
design? Yeah,
Yeah.
regarding the design parameters.
Yes. Yes. I've gone
Okay,
through it.
so
Read it.
if you go to the chapter 5, you can say that what is the uh, sorry, 1 minute. What will be the if you go to the chapter 5, you can they have given the design parameters, design criteria. Okay, what will be the maximum external walls, roofs, floors? Okay, what is the maximum value? And for
Oh.
glazing, what is the maximum value? Okay, so this is the accepted
Okay.
range. Okay, if you go beyond that, that means you are wasting the energy, right?
Yes.
So you should have a proper roof with a properly insulated, so that the more heat will not come into the space. If more heat comes into the space, you have to have a you need a more cooling to maintain the temperature. If more cooling means you need a more electricity, so that electricity will impact your the electricity production station, right? Where they have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
produce largest amount of energy. Okay, so to avoid that, they have a specific value. Okay, so this is the value we have to maintain when we do the design calculations, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Similarly, for the design parameters, what is the temperature we have to consider when you do the indoor conditions and outdoor condition? What is the design parameter you should consider? Okay, for the for the local. Okay, like what is the dry
Yeah.
bulb temperature? What is the wet bulb temperature? What is the Dubai city location, latitude, longitude? What is the location here? And what is the indoor condition for the human comfort? Okay, for dry bulb temperature, you should maintain 24 degrees Celsius and relative humidity 50%. This is for the human comfort, right?
Yeah.
And similarly, what is the heat dissipation? Okay, for from the light, from the equipment. Also, you can refer the ASHRAE guidelines, ASHRAE fundamentals.
Yes.
Okay, so it is given what will be the heat dissipation you can take. Say for example, lighting load, you can take 10 watts per meter square or 15 watts per meter square. Okay, and if you go to the an office area, okay, depends upon the type of office. Okay, there is a light computer, medium computer, heavy computer. Depends upon the computer, they will tell you that what is the heat dissipation, 5 watts per meter square or 10 watts per meter square or 15 watts per meter square. They will tell you, right? So based on that, you try to do the calculations. Okay, now we will start with the thermal load calculations. Have you installed HAP in your software in your
I
PC?
installed, but it is not like when they have when I'm running it as an administrator, like it is showing the error.
Okay. See, normally when you try to do, you will try to enter HAP, and when you try to click hourly analysis program, uh,
This page is not opening for me.
Okay, okay. So that mean we will try to install from your PC. Okay. So what I will do, I will just disconnect my sharing so that you can share your screen. We will see that how to what is the procedure to install it. Can you show it so that we will see?
1 second. Yeah, I will.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
will stop my sharing here, right?
okay.